Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Rabbi.
There was once a fellow that he came to the Teitzei, the third Chabad Rebbe, and he complained that he has sfeikus in Emunah. He has doubts in believing in God. So he has different ideas in his head, and he's not able to wrap his head around believing in Hashem. A lot of times other ideas come into his head. So the Rebbe asks him, are you scared of the king? Or the Tsar at that time? He says, yeah. He says, did you ever see him? He says, no, I never saw him. So he says, why are you scared of him? So he says, my brother saw him once, and he told me, he explained to me what's going on, and the whole ordeal. That in itself makes it something that's close to me, even though I personally didn't see it. So the Rebbe says, so I could see what's going on up there, and I'm telling you it's real. So he said, okay, accept it. There was once another chassid that he also from the chassidim of the Teitzei, and he had a son. And his son, when he was 10 years old, this boy was such a genius that not only he knew all the studies in yeshiva, but there's books called Sefer Chakira, the books that you start questioning and dealing about the existence of God, deep books. And this kid at 10 years old was already reading these books. So his father got scared. A 10-year-old kid starting to read that stuff, he could get new ideas in his head, start philosophizing, and lose the belief. As that age, it's a little dangerous. So he brought his son to the Teitzei that he should be blessed, that he shouldn't lose his belief. So the Teitzei took a handkerchief on his desk, and he wrapped his hand in the handkerchief that you cannot see his hand. And he started to wave it in front of the kid. He says, who's moving the handkerchief? So he says, you are. He says, how do you know you don't see my hand? He says, yeah, but I know it's behind. So he says the same thing with Hashem. We may not always see Hashem, but you should know He's running the whole show. He's got the whole thing moving back and forth. So he blessed him that you should always have the emunah, and that was the idea that was a physical way to bring down the blessing. One more story. There was a Jew that he wanted to get married to a non-Jew, and he was a kohen. So he came to the Rebbe for Yechidus. He was talking to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says, "You see all the books in here in the world on the wall? All my books here. I can learn all these books. I cannot reach a level that you can, as being a kohen. It is what it is. You have a special holiness of being a kohen, and I cannot reach that by reading all the books. So you should understand the value and the opportunity that you have, and seize that opportunity. And the faster you do it, the faster you're able to reach back to that level." So this is all these stories really has a similar concept with this week's parsha. You'll go out to war on your enemies. There is two dichotomies. There are two sources of energy in this world. There's the holiness, and then there's everything else. And the question is, in which world are we living in? Are we veering to this side, or are we veering to that side? Sometimes it's a war for us. It's a decision we have to make. Sometimes it's not easy. It's a challenge we don't see. But there's a war. However, you should know Hashem is going to deliver the enemies in your hand. If you want to do the right thing, you'll be successful, you will succeed, you'll be victorious, you will come back with spoils, and Hashem should have. We should be inspired, we should see it, we should enjoy it, and we should be zeicha to the time that everything will be good with the coming of Mashiach to the kingdom. Amen.